Hey everyone, it's time for another game review. This time we will be covering the definitive edition of Sleeping Dogs. I got it on sale a while back, and finally with my new, shall we say, work schedule, I was able to beat it. I'm not going to go over everything that is different between the original and the definitive edition, and the like, nor will I be talking about the technical aspect of it. Plenty of people have already done that. Like with the Assassin's Creed review, I will be going over what I liked and disliked about the game. Thank you all for choosing to spend your time with me, and I hope you enjoy it. So, first things first, you are an undercover cop tasked with infiltrating a triad group as the character Wei. You get to experience his rise to a captain position in the triad. Throughout the game, you are met with a poorly done romance system that consists of calling between 4 to 6 girls roughly to a one-time date that adds nothing to the story aside from the specific blurb. Honestly, this should have either been removed completely or improved on significantly, as with 95% of the game, it is completely pointless. Now, I did have an issue with clunky controls and the Nightmare DLC that looks so bad on paper and description because it was a cheap spin-off DLC featuring a non-canon story and completely silly in nature. I said, well, fuck that shit, and just decided I would only do a year of the Snake DLC that continued directly after the main story. This, at least, was canon, though it was completely avoidable and not needed to be played at all. Those of you who may have liked the character a lot more than normal would be able to play 12 missions that portray the main character's story, as I said, directly after the main events. Being real, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I highly recommend just playing the main game and leaving it at that. As a quick cut-in, the chase scenes were awesome, and I loved every one of them in the main game. I do have to point out that anything that is not the main story is essentially a challenge, a race, collectible, upgrade, etc. of some type, and I promise you, you will miss nothing by ignoring them completely, as you should. A point to prove, I also had over $600,000 by the end of the main story just doing the main missions and elite cases, and my bad, it's actually called Juan. The voice acting in itself was good, though I have to admit that sometimes things didn't quite match up. And the lip sync, well, it wasn't good at all, but very easy to ignore due to the good voice acting, so that's a plus. I wanted to save the best thing for last, because it's simply, well, the best thing. The story itself is definitely a good watch. It was interesting and kept my attention until the very end of the game. Well, cliche I admit, and everything was kinda been there, done that before, it was enjoyable nonetheless. I would definitely recommend the game to be played at least once. Just buy it on sale, play only the main campaign, and you could beat it in under 10 hours. The ending itself was really the only thing I had an issue with. It fell under the category that a lot of games nowadays do. This meaning that it was pulling strong until the end, where instead of going out with an all capitalized bang, it kinda just went out on a lowercase bang. In conclusion, if you want a good undercover cop story with some gruesome scenes, surprisingly badass combat that is similar to, say, the Arkham games in which you feel like a total badass, even before being able to use the environment, this is definitely your game. Just don't ask me about the driving mechanics. Please, trust me. If you get the game, you will know. You will know to let people experience that themselves. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, join my Discord, and or join my Patreon to help further support what I do. See more game reviews like this, and much more. I appreciate all of your support more than each of you probably even realize. Maybe I should come up with a catchphrase for my outro. I can't just let it cut right in the middle of